should definitely name this podcast Tangents. Just like going off on a tangent, and that's like our name. That should just be called Tangents. Like just going off on a tangent. Because it's too easy.
Whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out.
Oh, intro.
What's poppin', everybody?
It's your boys.
Tangent Podcast.
We're chilling, going off on a tangent. We got the man Ciroc, we got Turpy, we got your boy TY. We're gonna be talking about positivity today. We're gonna be talking about manifestation, growth, small town mentality, how dangerous it is, and then in all three of those things, the thing that's gonna come out the brightest is definitely passion and how important it is. What that looks like in all of us, what our passions are, a little bit of our goals, and we'll probably just wrap up with saying, what our pages are gonna turn into, what it's gonna look like in the coming future. All right, manifestation to me just basically means just like fully believing in the power of positivity and just like wishing it to be and wishing it into existence and knowing for a fact that you're going to achieve it and then just pushing towards that relentlessly until you actually achieve it. And that's what I think about. How about that?
For me, manifestation is all about believing in yourself and just knowing that it's totally capable. Like if somebody else can do it, then why can't you? Not only that, it's about personal drive. If you really want something, then you'll naturally go for it, and chances are if you're giving it your all, whether or not you believe you're capable, you are, so 9 times out of 10 you'll end up accomplishing your goal. So it's just all about fully committing and believing that it's possible.
My definition is pretty much the same, just knowing that nothing's like infinite, so you're like always changing.
I think that a thing too to realize about the idea of manifestation that we should all probably take a second to touch on is that in the same way positive manifestation exists and is a real thing that we deal with, negative manifestation is just as real and just as potent, just as powerful, and just as present in all of our lives. I know that a lot of times.
Wait, hold on, tell me. We were playing music and the fan was on. Should we just restart?
No, the thing about negative manifestation is that a lot of times people will speak into existence obstacles for themselves and obstacles that they see as insurmountable, meaning that they can't push past them or climb over those mountains, so to speak. And the thing is, those things weren't real for that person. Those things didn't need to exist, but that person's negative energy and self-doubt and worry came to be basically in real life and ended up pushing that person back. So in the same way that you want to actively be in the pursuit of positive personal manifestation and bringing forth into the world the things that you genuinely hope for yourself, you want to actively be running away from the idea of negative manifestation, which is basically just trying to go as fast as you can possibly all the time, but throwing roadblocks in front of yourself and nonchalantly doing it to the point where you don't even really see that anything's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you attract what you allow, you know what I mean? So and another thing is you attract what you dwell on, if you dwell on the positive, then you'll attract positive. If you dwell on the negative, then obviously negative things will happen in your life, but it's all for growth, so it's like if you want to grow positively, then do what you can to do that.
Manifestation is kind of like karma. So you'll get what you give.
Right. Right. If you seek positivity, then you'll find positivity. And if you seek negativity, you'll seek negativity. And, one thing I heard the other day is that your greatest fear is that you're gonna remember what you're saying and not forget it in the middle of saying. Whew, it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think we can jump into growth and what we think that means.
Growth is basically implementing manifestation, right? So knowing that you can change and working on doing that. Always. That's a 24/7, 365.
Mm-hmm. And you have to attack it that way too. You genuinely can't just want something and say you want to grow and have all the thoughts and the attitude to go out and grow, and like you feel like even if in your soul you feel like I genuinely want growth, but then you don't actually have any action to implement it, then it's not going to happen. And if you're not actively trying to become great in what you love to do, then what are you doing?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, then in that case, you don't really love it. You know, when you really love something, I think, in my opinion, you understand that things in life come with sacrifice, and you're willing to sacrifice those things to do what? To grow. You know.
Right. Part of growth is not spreading yourself too thin.
Right. I mean, it's like they say, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not willing to get rid of old parts of you to gain new parts of you and a new perspective, then what's the point? You're not growing, you know?
And the thing is, that's like a reality, guys. I don't want to be the devil's advocate, so to speak, and always, you know, say the negative aspect, but the reality is there's such thing as growing pains. And there's such thing as outgrowing your current take, so to speak, or your fishbowl, you know, and you have to walk away from some people who aren't ready to grow, some people who aren't interested in taking the next step, aren't interested in any form of betterment. You're going to have to actively walk away from those people. And the thing is, at that time, it's probably going to hurt. Why it's called growing pains. You're going to go do things that are better for you. And so because of that, you're not going to try to rip anybody out of a situation. You're not going to tell them they need to stop loving what they love because it's stupid or you know, underneath you or them or whatever. But you're just going to walk away respectfully and go do what you feel like you have to do that's necessary for your growth. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you wanting what's best for you. Like, even if you're a religious person or like a scientific person, like the power of manifestation and like faith, because manifestation is just faith, whether you're having faith in a deity or you have faith in yourself. Right, it's just faith. So the thing is like even in the Bible it says like if you have the faith, if you have genuine faith the size of a mustard seed, which is like one of the small seeds in the world, you know, this insanely tiny thing, like if your faith equals that much, then you can legitimately tell a mountain to stand up and like move out of your path.
Proven in so many ways. I mean, people do it all the time. You know what I mean? The only thing that separates you from getting what you want and being stagnant is you actually getting up and taking action. You know? You just have to go get it.
The only thing between you and your goals are your actions. Coin that shit. It's beautiful. Alright.
Listen, we're not discounting the fact that we're the same age as you and that you're sitting here every day and that we all think that that's a poor decision. It's a poor decision because of us. But it's like if you're going to be here, these are the things that you should try to get out of this place. Or just like, or whatever. And people are going to go crazy. People are going to like, we're the exact same age as you people. We chose a different path.
Super different path. Like,
yeah.
wow. Yeah.
I know a lot of people that would like look at what we're doing and be like, wow, that's like really admirable because you're not taking that safety net. And then I know a lot of people on the opposite side that are like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Right, literally. I know a lot of people who see what we're doing and envy us and envy the life that we've been able to build out here and become our own bosses in a semi-sustainable way and like just enjoy each other's company all day and like literally become like brothers and like a legitimate family out here and not have any bosses or anybody to answer to, and we figure out every problem that we face like as a group and we attack every issue that comes up as a group. And there's and the thing that's like ludicrous to me having lived this life is like I'll text somebody and I'll be like, hey, you want to hang out or like this or that, right? And they'll be like, I can't, I have homework. And I'm just like, what? The 55 minutes that they were told about wasn't enough. They also had to do 55 minutes on their own time after school.
That's like taking homework from an 8-hour job.
Right.
Man,
it's
like,
just like that's absolutely nuts.
They say they're
and
preparing
like
you for the real world.
right, and then they say they're
Working at Taco
preparing
Bell,
you.
They said, hey, bake these shells overnight. While
Literally, you get out of a job. You get out of a job at Taco Bell, and they're like,
lasagna, I swear to God.
literally, you got a job at Taco Bell, and
You're
they're just
fired.
like, oh, by the way, you need to make, you know, all these items 10 times each and bring them in tomorrow. It's just like, excuse you? I was like, I've been here all day. You're telling me they can't get me to know what I need to know in an hour and 25 minutes? I need to know. I have to give me more work.
Such like an overstaffed job. Like there's like an excess of teachers. I think it's the same thing with police. It should be like not defund teachers. Like fewer people will do it and learn more shit to teach the kids.
I was shown this way, so I'm going to show you this same thing that same way, and if you don't get it, you must be dumb. It's not, I have to change up the way that I'm explaining this because you might understand in a different way.
That's literally how we're bred to be. It's so fucked.
It really is, because it's just like,
learn information and spit it back out.
it's like that Albert Einstein quote, like, if a fish was judged for its ability to climb a tree, then, you know, every fish would think would go its whole life thinking it's stupid. I botched that, but it's something like that. It's basically just like, a fish is meant to swim. Like, a fish is a phenomenal swimmer. It's supposed to be in water. So if you judge that fish because he can't climb a tree, like, that fish is gonna think that it's worth it. In all reality, it was just in the wrong lane, and it just needed to do the thing that it could excel at, the thing that it was best at. The life that the school system prepares you for is a life that hasn't existed for 60 years, and it's not gonna exist again.
Things are constantly changing.
All the jobs
You know?
you like get a degree for, like a computer could probably do.
Right. And like Elon Musk, you know, the owner and CEO of Tesla, like he has a really famous quote: college is just for fun, and it's to prove who can do their chores. But you're not learning anything at college because all the information that the world has to offer is out there practically for free.
That's
so unnecessary.
It's so insane how expensive. Like, where does that money go?
Exactly, it goes into the beautiful, beautiful infrastructure. It goes into the 50 people that they pay to keep their grass green. Like, it's crazy. I had 2 college experiences. One was Berklee College of Music, which is to this day one of the most expensive universities you can go to in the world. It was, I went there, I auditioned, I got a really nice scholarship, really generous scholarship. They bumped off like $35,000 for me on my drum set performance application, and it was still $40,000 out of pocket after aid and everything that I had to pay. That was for the first semester. It was $140,000 a year to go to that school. So by the time I end up paying for that school, that's $560,000 right there, but then they break it up month by month, so you actually end up paying way more. It's gonna be $750,000 that I have to pay out of my pocket to make good on that education, where I can actually profit off it.
That much money, just start a business, dude. Jesus.
Right, you could do anything, almost anything in the world with that amount of money.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, if college isn't what you need, if the world hasn't set some stupid arbitrary standard, and I'm sorry, this is how it is. If they haven't set some stupid arbitrary standard that says you need a degree from whatever university to get that job, then there's no reason to do it. It's just so insanely expensive for no reason. And I went to Nichols College, which is a school in Massachusetts as well. It's a business school. Beautiful campus. The people there were great. The thing that was insane about it is, I think back to that experience, the schoolwork was easier than I did in high school. By far, like, I finished the math and the English courses so quickly that I just started staying home, and the teachers legitimately let me only show up to class on the days we took exams, and then I would just like sleep all day, watch Netflix, go to class once every 3 weeks, get an 85 on the exam I didn't know anything about prior, and then just like go back to sleeping and eating all day every day. And all people did there was smoke and drink. Like, it was just for fun, and like send their dad a screenshot of their report card every couple months and say like, "Woo, look at me," and their dad was like, "Yes, you're an RA. Congratulations."
What are you doing with it?
Yeah, like, awesome. Woo. It's just like, and listen, we're not trying to
That's
belittle the
like-
experience, but
If it's your passion, then that's worth it. You
Right.
just gotta find what you feel is worth it.
It's all about what you really want. Are you willing to sacrifice your time? Are you willing to sacrifice the money and the energy that it takes to learn all that stuff? Because it's like, of course, it's going to be risky, it's going to be hard, but like, if it's worth it to you, then do it, you know?
That's funny, because that's literally what small town mentality is. If you break it down, it's just being comfortable.
for a long time before I decided to dive into being a content creator, I worked at Taco Bell, and I started there when I was 18 years old as a dishwasher, and I just like cleaned things, and my girlfriend and we started the same day. We worked all the way up to being general managers, and while we were general managers, I would look out at my friends and I would think, wow, they're gonna come out of school with a business degree in 3 years, because it would have been 3 years at the time. They're gonna come out of this school with a business degree and $300,000 in debt that they have to pay back to come work the same job that I've been working for the last 4 years.
Really, if you think about it, it's all about, like, if you want to do labor, or you want to learn by books, because you can end up where someone who went to college would be for 8 years and like 5 years, but you also have that labor that like takes time off of your full life, right?
Yeah.
So if someone wants to sacrifice 8 years reading books and live like a longer, more relaxed life, then
You know, that's so crazy. Like, that's actually an insanely good point, because it's just like, so here we are speaking on our truths in the way that we see it, but either path you decide to walk down, like, there are gonna be sacrifices. So it's like, if I decided to just do the same thing, you know, later in life and go to college, would the last 4 years of my life been way less hectic? Would I have had way more fun? Would I have hung out with way more people? Would I have way more friends? Absolutely yes. But I was personally willing to sacrifice all those things, and these guys were willing to sacrifice all those things to get where we wanted to go sooner.
They're really always like the same shit. That's like, that never occurred to me until now. That's actually insane.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. And the thing I want to stress to like the people in my life and you guys and the people in your life is that like the answers are out there.
Even if you don't chase that knowledge, if you just do what it is you're trying to do and just take time, the knowledge will literally come to you. It'll find you.
That's true. And I want to circle back, because I think one of the things that you said, how either side is going to have its sacrifices, works really, really well with the second thing we were talking about, which is growth. In this way. So saying is, it takes 10,000 hours of continuously doing a task for you to have, quote, mastered that task, right? So do I want to have 10 hours a day where I hang out with my friends, and then the other 10 hours a day I work on my task and I'll achieve it in X amount of days? Or do I want to say, you know what, screw the friends, screw the hangouts, screw the parties, screw whatever, and now I'm going to legitimately get those 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours, or I'll have doubly mastered one skill.
That's weird that we all wrote all this. It's literally, it's linked so well.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Manifestation is growth. You use passion to find growth.
I mean, what growing means is...
Mentality, small town mentality is the opposite of manifestation.
Right.
So,
all of those
the last
things will
thing...
cancel out your small town mentality.
So it is crazy that we brought all those up. The one that we have touched on the least, I'm going to dive into a little bit for you guys right now, is small town mentality. Now, we all came from an exceptionally small town in Massachusetts.
Dramatic.
Very cliquey. Yeah, everybody knew each other. You know, everybody's kids went to dance at the same place. Like, it was one of those towns, right? So the thing about those towns is, like, it really is like the TV shows. Like, Brett wants to grow up and he wants to run his, you know, daddy's motorcycle business, and he's gonna want his son to do that. And the Christian who works at Cumbies only thinks they're good enough to work at Cumbies because their parents did. What we're telling you guys is, find that part of your brain that thinks that, if you do, and kill it. Because whatever somebody else has done in your town, in the same way there's a blueprint to do that, everything else that's ever been done at any point in the world has been done. Which means there's also a blueprint to do that.
Even if you chase your dream and fail, you can just work at Cumbies when you're older. Cumbies doesn't go anywhere.
Right, you know, if you have to move out of your town, which most of the time you will, to change up your environment, to change up your mentality and your mood and your passion, then do that. You know, it's worth it for the growth. So
It's crazy because I lived in a small town and then I moved to like one of the bigger cities in Massachusetts, and I thought it would be the other way around. I thought like Springfield was gonna be super cliquey.
Mm-hmm.
But there was literally like so many people that everyone's tight, kind of like fucked with each other. They all like blended together.
To go back to what you said, you know, you can always work at Cumbies later. The thing is that like when it comes to your mentality about your backup plan, you can always employ it later. Like push for your dreams while you're young. Push for your dreams when you have nothing else. There's nothing to lose in your life. How many models of the airplane did the Wright brothers have to go to before they made one fly? You know, what if they quit the first time? Where would we be right now?
Every failure is a different approach.
Failing just shows you a path that you can't take, and then when it's time to actually find your path in life, you're gonna have limited options, and you're gonna know which ones are gonna lead to like pain. And now you know not to repeat those mistakes. It's really just pushing you towards where you truly should end up.
Going down a path, and then you kind of see through like the trees that there's a path in that direction, and
right.
It looks way nicer over there. You go back to where you started. Take that path.
Take that path.
Yep.
Never lose faith, because if you lose faith, then people are going to lose faith in you. And the thing is, you don't want to pass up an opportunity.
Because when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. You know, you're just doing it because you love it, and people appreciate that, and they want to bless you for it.
If you feel like it's a
That's
chore,
how life works.
if you feel like it's a chore, guess what? It's probably not for you, right? If you don't want to get up and do it, if you want to constantly call out, if you don't want to be there, like the thing is, it's probably not for you. And you don't have to think like growth isn't like I'm gonna leave McDonald's because it's toxic and I'm gonna go be a millionaire. Growth is saying I'm gonna leave McDonald's because it's toxic and it's bad for my for my positive state of being and my mentality. That's growth. Growth is bettering yourself no matter what it looks like. You don't have to drive a Lamborghini to say, oh, I'm grown or I'm woke. You need to say, I'm in a good place spiritually and physically and mentally. And that can look like any walk of life. So we don't want to sit up here and tell you that you need to chase the same things as us or want the same things as us or you want a lifestyle that looks the same as ours or you want to have the nice cars and the money and all that stuff. That doesn't have to mean anything to you. The only thing that needs to matter to you is that you're constantly making decisions that are for what you need for you and what's best for you personally, regardless of what anybody else thinks.
So whatever your heart desires, like whatever makes you the most happy is what you will manifest, you know? And that's the thing at the end of the day.
And we've circled back to the beginning. That's how it works.
You know?
That's how you know it's true. From the top of the list back to the top of the list. And the thing is like you're from our page, you probably know this. We just had the mukbang literally an hour ago probably. And we didn't know what we were going to talk about on this live. So we just wrote 4 things on the board, just randomly shouted 4 things out. And they came full circle. And that just shows you that it's just like, they're all true, and there's no reason that you can't go out and be whatever you want to be. And I do genuinely mean that, like whatever you want to be, there's a path to it. You just have to be willing to walk down enough paths to say, oh, these aren't the right ones. And eventually you're going to walk into a thorn bush, right? And it's going to suck and it's going to knock you on your ass and you're not going to want to get up anymore and you're not going to want to do it. But I promise you, if you put your head down and you just keep grinding, you're going to find the path that's for you and there's no reason to stop.